Hi everyone, in this video I will show you how to use Deepseek R1 locally and set up some cool open source project on your computer for free to get hands-on experience with AI, of course without spending a penny. We'll explore projects like prompting, UI, browser automation tools, Visual Studio Code extension, then complex workflow automation tools, and even a simple RAG app by the end of the video. All will be completely free and open source. So without wasting any time, let's dive in. So before starting the video, let's just understand shortly how Ollama and LLM model actually work on your computer. So there are LLM large language model like GPT, Gemini, Claude, Deepseek, Llama 3.2, 3.3, so many. And there are a tool called Ollama which actually help to install all the model from cloud to your computer. So before that you have to install the tool Ollama, and then with Ollama you have to install all the LLM model, and you will not find ChatGPT or Gemini into the Ollama platform. So that's mean for installing those model into your computer, those models should be supported by Ollama platform. So that's why you can only see some model actually listed on the Ollama, and Deepseek is one of the one. So we have Deepseek, and then we have to install Ollama, then we will install the Deepseek model from the Ollama platform into our computer. And when we install that, it actually run in our background automatically, or there are a command to run that model in the background. And when it run, it actually serve a server, means whenever you install any model, those actually run in a particular server, and that's mean it's a server, so you can just call that server to perform actions, and that's how actually the whole thing work. That's mean when you installed the model and it started the server, now you can directly communicate from your terminal to the server. You can communicate through API call from the server, or you can just use any LLM wrapper to call the model with the Ollama server. And in this video we are going to see several tools, and those actually installed in our computer, and then we need to install Ollama and the model, and then when we use those tools we can communicate with the LLM with our tool to perform some task. So you can also say those tools like LLM wrapper, or you can say some sort of like a particular name or whatever. So from my opinion, it's kind of like the whole thing actually work like that. So before starting the video, I think it's really important to understand how actually the underlying technology work. So now let's just start with installing Ollama in our computer, and then we will show all the projects and how you can install them into your computer. Ollama is a powerful tool that lets you run AI models like Llama, Mistral, and Deepseek more directly on your computer. No need for cloud services, just install and start using it. First, let's install Ollama on our local machine. So go to ollama.com and then download it. After the installation finish, you have to check the version that you have installed Ollama correctly or not. So check the version. You have to open the terminal from anywhere, and you have to enter the command Ollama -- version, and if you hit that you will see a version number, and that's mean you correctly installed Ollama. And the installation process is really easy. If you're just using Windows, you can just click on the download. You will find the .msi file, which you can just simply install by any software you installed. As you can see, it will give you the .msi file. And for the Linux, you just have to grab the command and open your terminal and just paste it and hit the command. And for Mac, you can do the same as Windows. You can just download it and you can just install it like plug and play. Now let's talk about model. So if you go to the model page, then you can see tons of models into the list, and the most popular one is the Deepseek R1 and Llama 3.3, Llama 3.2, PHI-4, and a lot of stuff. So for installing any of the model, you just have to click on the model, and then you can see there are some variety, and those are the parameter that mentioned and indicate that how powerful the model is. For 1.5 billion, Deepseek R1 is gonna be one of the lowest in the list, and 671 billion, which is one of the largest and powerful model in the list. So if you have good GPU with a huge RAM, then you can just try out 32 billion, 70 billion, and also 671 billion. But if you are not using GPU then you can just try out 1.5 billion, 7 billion, and also sometimes 8 billion works fine. So for installing any of the model, you just have to choose that particular model, and you can see a command and just copy the command and open the terminal from anywhere so that you can hit the command. And after pasting the command, when you hit that command, it will try to pull all the source code and the whole thing into your machine. And I already have installed the model so that I can just see the prompt. So if I just say hi, then it will give me the response. As you can see how fast the response is actually giving me. So let's try to install this one to show how the installation process works. So let's just click this one and just enter the command, and you can see it's actually pulling from the cloud, and it will take some time to install the full model into your local machine. So be patient and then enjoy. And also you can check how many models you already install in your machine by the command Ollama list, and you can see all the models that you have installed in your local machine. That I have Llama 3.2, Deepseek R1, and also Deepseek Coder. And if you want to remove any model, you can do so also. You just have to run Ollama help, and you can see a bunch of command that is going to help you to proceed further. If you run this command Ollama rm and then the model name, it will remove the model from your local machine so that it will not take the space. And that's it for the installations. And for running any of the model, you just have to run like Ollama run and the model name. Let's say I'm going to run this one, and as soon as you can see a prompt to send message, and you can just try out the whole thing in your terminal. You don't need any UI or something like that. But nowadays, every day people are making LLM wrapper so that you don't have to query and ask from the terminal. You can just simply ask it from the browser. Now let's look into one of the easiest LLM wrappers that you can just use it to perform your local LLMs. So search page assist GitHub from the Google, and you will find a GitHub repository top of the list. And then this is the repository, and this is one of the easiest one and also open source to use your local LLM models, and it's a browser extension. And you can see the extension link here. Just click it and it will open you the Chrome store, and then you just have to install it into your Chrome browser. And after that, you are ready to crash. Go to the extension list and then look for the page assist and then click on that, and you can see a good user-friendly interface to run or perform local LLM task in your browser. So here in the top bar, create new chat as we did in the ChatGPT or Gemini, and then in the beside drop down you can choose any model, and you can see all the list of the model will show in the list, and these are the model that you already have installed in your local machine. So those lists will automatically show in the drop down, and you can just simply select any of that model, and after that you just have to start asking, playing around it. And as you can see, it's showing Deepseek Coder 1.3 billion and the response. And of course you can try to listen that.
Hello, how can I assist you with your programming or technical queries today?
Like the voice mode, you can copy that and you can see how much time it took and also how much token it cost, and also you can regenerate it and you can edit it by this. So this is one of the easiest way you can just directly use this extension to run all of your local Ollama LLM models. And also it gives some cool feature like search on the internet. If you turn on that, then you can just search your query from the internet as well as with the LLM models. And here you can also upload images, and then there are a speech to text icon which will help you to just prompt by your speech, and also it will give you some cool stuff like extract text from image like OCR. So by far it's one of the easiest way you can just simply use your local LLMs with a user-friendly UI, and you can just toggle over, then you can see all the chat history here. And then in the top bar you can see some options as well as the settings, that what are the configuration you want to play around. So you can just set them around like this. It is kind of like the same that we got when we purchased Open API or Gemini API Premium. We got the playground where we can set the temperature, we can set some of the max token, minimum token, kind of all the information you will get here. You can just tweak them and modify them based on your uses. And finally you can see the settings where you can just do a lot of stuff, because this Chrome extension gives a lot of settings, like it will also give you rack system. That means you can just embed model and you can just upload some files to play around it based on your needs. And there are so many things you can also do. So I think this is by so far one of the easiest way to run your local LLMs. And if you are a programmer or coder who know TypeScript and JavaScript, then you can simply come to their repo page assist, where you can see the full code base and understand how the code base worked, and you can also contribute there and also play around with the code base. Just bring the knowledge from the code base, and if you want to build something similar Chrome extension, you can just grab the knowledge and just build that. Open Web Ui. This is one of the greatest user interface wrapper for LLM I have ever found. You can just simply search Google with Open-Web Ui GitHub, and you will get the link of the repository. And if you look around, you will see that it is one of the most user-friendly and feature-rich self-hosted LLM wrappers that work with APIs as well as local LLMs like Ollama. And it also helps you to use like RAG to making it a powerful AI deployment solution. So running this project in your local machine, you required Node.js as well as Python. So for downloading Python, go to python.org/download, and based on your operating system, just download it and install it. And for Node.js, go to nodejs.org, then go to the download section or download it from the homepage. After download Python and Node.js, open your terminal to check the version so that you make sure that download correctly. So for checking Python version, Python 3 -- version, that will give you the Python version. And for Node.js, you have to enter node-v and it will give you the Node.js version. So before that, you must need to run both of these environment. And also one thing you need, which is Git. So go to Git and you will find git.scm.com, and what you have to do, you have to download it from here. You can see if you're using Windows or Linux or Mac, you will see the download option. So to make sure you download Git, you also can check the version by git-version and you will see the version. So for running this repository in your machine, you need to follow some steps. So open a new tab and search Google Python env and then search it for Google, and then you can see how to create a virtual environment in Python. If you don't find this article, then I would recommend you to search with this term, how to create a virtual environment in Python. And when you hit enter, then you will find an article from hostinger.com. And if you click on that, then you will see an article about installing a virtual environment. And it's simple, you don't have to do a lot of stuff, just follow my step. So here it will show installing the Python, and then you have to install a Python package for creating virtual environment. So for doing that, you have to take the command sudo apt install python 3 venv. This command is for Linux or Ubuntu. For Windows, you can just search for Windows, then you will see kind of same command for Windows or Mac. And then you can just open the terminal from anywhere. I just opened it from desktop and create a folder with Web UI, and you can use this command mkdir space Web UI, and it will create a folder called Web UI. Then you can just navigate to that folder and start installing your virtual environment. So for doing that, just grab that command and then it will install Python 3 -venv, which is a package that helps to create virtual environment. And once you install these things, it will make really easier to continue or run any Python project easily into your machine. And after that, creating the virtual environment, you have to use this command python 3 -m-venv and your environment name. So I'm just going to paste the command, and in the last word I can give any name. So I would recommend just use env as the environment name. And when you hit the command, then it will create a env folder inside of your root folder, and that's the environment that will help to run all the Python packages in your machine. And now one step you have to do, you have to activate the virtual environment with this command. So just copy that command, open the terminal, and inside that folder where you have the env folder, you can just paste that command, and of course you have to give the name. For our case it was only env, so you just rename it and then hit the enter, and when you hit that you can see the environment is activated, and that's mean now you can install any packages inside of that environment so that you can play around. So now let's navigate to our Open-Web UI repository, and if you go down below, then it will show you the installation step, and you don't have to do a lot of stuff. You just have to install it by this command. Just grab this command and open the terminal and make sure you activate your environment and then paste the command, and then it will try to install all the necessary dependency and the full project inside of the environment, so that you can just simply copy the second command to run the UI into your browser. So let's wait until it's finished, and it will take some time because there are a lot of stuff on the code base, so you might see like a huge size when it will download all the thing. So be patient until it downloaded. So after installation finish, you can now just simply copy the second command, open-web UI space serve, and then hit enter to serve the UI, and it will take some time, and then it will show you a good terminal message as well as the URL that will serve the applications. So you can find the URL like http 0008080, or you can just simply go to http localhost 8080, and by clicking it, it will open the interface. Then you will see this kind of UI with black screen, and it will ask you to register an account. So just fill up all the information and register the account. I already did so I don't need to do that again. So let's just sign in, and after sign in, you can see the interface like this, and also you will see the sidebar as well as a drop down where you can find all the local LLM model list. So let's just select Deepseek R1 1.5 billion, and let's try to chat around. So it will give some suggestion, and let's just click this one. And as you can see, because Deepseek R1 is a reasoning model, you can see an UI that is showing thinking, and after the thinking done, you can see the response, and also you can just toggle over the thinking to see what the model actually thinking. So this is also a good tool to see what actually the LLM is thinking, and after that you can see it is giving the responses. And also here in the bottom you can upload file, you can just open your camera, and here in the prompt you can read loud,
Less than details type equals reasoning.
and also you can continue response, regenerate, and so on. And here you can also see record voice, so that it will open the recording, like you can just do speech to text, and then also an option for call. And for opening the microphone, you need to give the access of the microphone, and then as you can see it is showing the record, and then it will try to retrieve that text from your voice, and then it will apply that with the LLM model that you have selected. You can also change your model to any of the Ollama model you have installed in your machine. And then in the sidebar you can create workspace, then you can search all the chat as well as you can see all the previous chat, and by clicking this one you can also create new chat as we did on the Chat GPT or Gemini. And in the right side top you can also find some control as we saw in our Chrome extension page assist, where we can tweak all of the model's context and the necessary information. And also you'll find the settings and the playground. On the playground, where you can just give some instruction as we saw in the OpenAI playground. So it will give you almost every feature we saw on the Chat GPT, including the playground. And also you can see there are an admin panel. There are a admin panel where you can just do some user management, and you will see all the settings in the setting tab, as well as models, documents, web search, and a lot of stuff. And also you will find the database option where you can just import database data. And also in the three dot button here you can just download the whole conversation in a JSON format, plain text, or PDF document so that you can share it. So this is one of the greatest UI interface LLM wrapper which will help you to run your local LLM free privately in your browser. And if you are a programmer, then you can just go to that repo and see all the code base, issues, PR to just play around. Now let's look into our coolest open source project that will help you to automate browser tasks. If you're familiar with ChatGPT OpenAI operator, then you can see that it opened a browser and it to task automatically based on your command. And here you can see it is finding flight from a website for a particular date, and you by just only single command or prompt. And if you visited this repository, then you will see a bunch of examples that will show how it is actually automating the task. And this one is like writing a letter in the Google Doc based on just only command. And by so far it's one of the amazing tool I have ever seen. But achieving this kind of tool, you have to pay almost $200 monthly to automate your task. But now we have Deepseek R1 open source LLM in our local machine. We can just simply use this wrapper to integrate that LLM to perform the browser automation. So for achieving that, we need another web UI as we saw the earlier one. So you have to go to the browser use, and here you can see they have another web UI. Just click on that, and it is also kind of a similar web interface that will run in your local machine, and then you can integrate your local LLM with it to perform the browser automation task. So now let's see how we can install it. So it is kind of the same we did to install Open-Web UI. We need a Python environment in our machine, and then we have to install the package so that it actually run the whole project in our local machine. So in the previous one, Open-Web UI, you don't have to clone it or you don't have to download the zip. You can just simply install that package in your environment by a single command. But in this one will require the full project download into your machine. So you can just download it by zip or you can just download it by Git. I would recommend using the Git, and then open the terminal where you already run the web UI and make sure you activate the environment like this. And here you can just simply clone the repository for browser use. And after that, you can see the folder called web UI. So you can just navigate to that folder, and you have to do some step like this one, installing all the dependency. So you have to copy this command without the UV because we already installed the environment with a different approach. UV is kind of like another way to install virtual environment, but we already installed it with venv. So we just need this command to install all the package. So just open the terminal and make sure you activate that, and also you should navigate to that folder that we already cloned here, and then you have to just hit the command. And when you do that, it will install all the necessary dependencies in that particular environment. And after that, you need one package which is Playwright, and it is required Node.js because I already told you to install Node.js into your machine so that you will not get any error. Just grab that command and try to install like Playwright install. And I already installed that, so that's why I'm seeing this warning. So if you don't install it in your locally yet, then you will see it will give you the installation progress. And after that, we can just simply run the project with this command, python webui.py --ip this. So copy that command and clear your terminal, and then just hit the command from the folder where you have cloned that, and you can see the project will run as the project we saw previously, and it will give you an URL, and then just click on that URL to navigate to the user interface. And as you can see, it's browser use web UI, where you can just control your browser with AI. Here in the agent setting, you can tweak some setting. So I would recommend just make it default. Then in the LLM configuration tab, you can use any open AI key or the model. And also in the drop down, you can see DeepSeek, Gemini, Ollama, Azure, OpenAI. Because we are using DeepSeek in locally, so don't select DeepSeek here. Select Ollama instead, and here in the model drop down you will find that particular model. And if you are using GPU, then you can use R1 32 billion, but for the CPU user like me, we can just simply select 14 billion. And there you go. You don't have to set the base URL and also the API key. And after set up these things, you can just navigate to the browser setting, where you can tweak some of the browser setting like the window width and height. So I would recommend just simply put the default option, and then you will find run agent. And here you can just simply type any of the prompt you want to see. So I want to search for OpenAI. So I just hit that prompt, and here you can just simply click on run agent, and it will show you the time, and it will then open a browser and you can see the automation task. As you can see, popped up a browser, and as per our instruction, it will open the Google and it will search for OpenAI, and it should give the result. And as you can see, this is how it actually detects and it is actually performing the automation task. And this is one of the craziest thing I have ever seen, like automating the whole task by just a single prompt, or like your instruction by just only text. So this is by so far one of the coolest technology that you can just simply do a lot of stuff. And after finishing the task, it will come back to the default stage, and you can just simply type any command in a text format, then it will try to perform that task. And if you need to provide any additional information, then you can just simply put that here. And also here you can see the configuration. You can upload some file, as well as in the result, if you enable the recording, then you can also all the recording in the recording tab. And as you can see, the two of the recording file. So this is the browser use web UI wrapper, which will help to use your local LLM to perform browser automation task in your local machine without spending any money to any model like OpenAI, operator, or something similar. So now let's look into coding tools which can use our local LLMs. Raw code, you can just search it on Google, raw code GitHub, then you can find this repository. This is also an open source project, and it is a Visual Studio Code IDE extension. Click on the link and you can see raw code. For installing that, just copy the name, open your Visual Studio Code, and then go to the extension menu and search for raw code, and you will find the extension and then install it. And after, you can see a rocket icon, just click on there, and then here in the top of the toolbar you can find an icon setting, just click on there, and then you can see there are API provider. By default you will see maybe open router, just select that with Ollama, and then you don't have to put the base URL, it will took the default one, and then you can see all the local model listed here, and you can choose any of the model. Let's say just choose the Deepseek Coder 1.3 billion, and also you can tweak some settings like read-only operations, write operations, and also some of the terminal related setting, and then click done. And now you are good to go with your local LLM. As you can see, it is starting generating the response. Based on your model, it will give you the response. And there are another extension that you can also use, which is Code GPT. And if you search that, you will find Code GPT chat and AI agent. You can install that, and also you can use your local LLM into this extension to perform some autocomplete tasks like GitHub Copilot. So now let's look into one of the coolest open source projects that will help you to automate your workflow, and it's low code, kind of you can say almost no code tools, and it is combined with almost 400 plus integrations, as well as self-hosted, and you can also custom code based on your requirement. And this is called N8N workflow automation tool. And if you go to the website n8n.io, you can actually see what their product about. They also provide enterprise solution, and also they have the open source option where you can just do everything without spending any money by yourself, and then just self-host that automation tool. So it will give you automation like DevOps, sales, and a lot of stuff. And of course the full source code, and it's almost have a great community, and the community is really growing. And with the AI nowadays, you can create AI agent with this tool, and you can use any model including local LLM. And as you can see, it have almost like 400 plus integration, including the Google's product as well as database, telegrams, like a lot of stuff. And this is not like any sponsored video. I'm just genuinely telling you that how cool or powerful this tool is. And if you are not coder, then you can just simply use it to build any automation without writing any code. So now let's look into the repository and let's see how we can install and use it locally. So before installing N8N in your local machine, you need Node.js. And as I said earlier, that you need to download Node.js from their official website, and then you are ready to go. You don't need any other things. So after downloading the Node.js and checking the version that is properly installed, and then just come into the repo, come down below, then you will see the command npx n8n, and this is the only one command that need to run the project in your machine. So open the terminal from anywhere and then just hit the command, and it will take some time to run when you try it first time. So just be patient until it successfully run. And after completed the running process, it will kind of look like this. You can see npx n8n run, then it will start a server as we saw some other project in the previous section. So just click on the link and your project will run perfectly, and it will require sign up. So just register an account. For my case, just put the name and the password, and then click on the check button and then click next. And don't worry if it took some time, then just wait until it finished. And after that, you can see it will successfully create an account to work further. And if you open the terminal, then you can see all the log here, and don't close the terminal. If you close that terminal, then it will close the full project. So let's create a workflow to start playing around. So this is the canvas where you can just do the automation stuff, and we already installed Ollama, and also we have our Deepseek R1 model installed. So let's just try to create a simple LLM chat workflow with our local LLM model Deepseek R1. For doing that, just click on add first step, and there are several one you can choose, but I want to choose like trigger manually. That's mean I want to click manually to start the automation process. Or you can just add on chat message, which will help to start the process by chat. Let's just make it trigger manually, and let's just test the workflow. Then it's passed. That's mean when you click, then it will trigger it will start the automation process. Now you can add action. Let's say you want to add some flow, you can just add that. You want to add data transformation, you can also find here. And the coolest thing is you can also add AI, and of course you can build AI agent with this tool, and also you can do some OpenAI stuff and basic LLM chain that we're gonna build right now. Let's just click on the basic LLM chain to see how it actually work with our local LLM. Here you have to select this one first, connected chat trigger node, the first one. And here you can see in the bottom you have to add model. So just click on the model, and then you can see language models, and there are several one including Google's, Mistral, Grok, OpenAI, and our Ollama model. So click on the Ollama model, and then here you have to add your account. So the default one, if you see no account, then just create new account and then just save as it is. I already created, so I don't need to do that. And after that, you can see all the list of your local LLM. So I'm gonna use the Deepseek Coder 1.3 billion, and here you can add options. There are several options. Just make it like simple, and then you can go back to the canvas, and as you can see, that's like a basic LLM chain of our workflow. And it is using a model from Ollama. And how the workflow will work, it will trigger manually, then it will run this step like the chat message, because for LLM chain we need a chat prompt where we can ask query. So that's why we need this tool. And you can also see it from here when you're trying to add something. So you cannot add chat prompt again here. So let's just work around with this one. Then I'm going to show you how you can add this chat. So after that, let's just try to test all the step, and you can see this one executed successfully. Then let's try to execute this one, and you can see you got error. It's showing that no prompt is specified. So let's just specify the prompt by opening it, and then here you can see you can add prompt. Let's just click add prompt, and you can also choose this from AI or system or user. Let's just make it system and just make it like hi, and that's it. Like add this prompt, and you can also add a chain of command as we did on any API playground provided by any LLM. So something like that, you can just create a chain, and based on that you can create a LLM chain. So I'm just gonna delete this one. I just want to put one prompt, and I think that's it. Let's just go back and try to run the test again, and it is showing again. So let's just try to check. Oh, here you have to select connected chat trigger node to define below. That's mean you want to define the prompt here. Let's just say hi, and that's it. It will start the chain. So that's why there should be some text required to start the chain flow. Test the workflow, and you can see that it is running, and it will call the Ollama model to perform the or like start the automation. And after that you can see there is a chat icon, and it's kind of like our simple LLM chain. And now let's just test it how it actually works. So click on the chat icon and just open it, and you can see the system message that we define is like the first prompt, and this was the output. Let's just ask something. Let's say how are you, and as you can see it actually showing all the step what it is doing. First it actually take your message from the chat part, and then it put that into your chain, and then it triggered that from Ollama model, and then it actually give you the result in a text format like this. So this is a simple basic LLM chain tool where you can just using your Ollama model. Of course you can use any of the model. So if you just delete that and try to add model, you can add OpenAI or any other model. So let's say I'm gonna add another one like Deepseek R1 7 billion. You can do so also. You just have to set up those, and then if you want to add options you can do that as well as. So this is like a simple step. So now let's see how you can also create AI agent. Let's just delete all this, and let's just try to add an AI agent from advanced AI and AI agent. If you just click on this node, and you can see the AI agent configuration part, and here you can see in the bottom you can add a chat model, you can add memory, you can add tool. So the chat model is the model, like the LLM model. The memory you can choose like database, and then the tool you can, if you click, and you can see there are tons of tools. There are like 100+ tools, and you can see all the Google product tools, more databases, and so on. So you can just integrate all of them. For as a AI agent, it needs a model, then it needs memory to store those query, and then you can add some tool and combine all of those things. You can create AI agent using any of your local LLM. And also in the tool you sometimes have to provide API key. Let's say if you want to use a Google Drive tool, or maybe Google tool, Gmail tool, or Jira tool, you have to provide the API key to actually perform the task. So make sure you actually do so. And without that, this is like a no-code tool, and it's really amazing. You can just simply build any kind of automation things with this tool. So just install the project and just start playing around. So I'm not gonna making this video too long to show you all the stuff. If you want to see an 8N automation video, then just comment down in this video so that I can just add the topic into my to-do list to make tutorial video about an 8N. And if you are a programmer again, then you can just go around their repository and just check their code, check their issues, PR to actually contribute, or maybe just brainstorming. So I think, yeah, that's it for N8N. And from my opinion, I think this is one of the coolest tool or project that will really help to automate your workflow. So this is a simple RAG application system I have developed, which will help you to chat with your PDF. Now, what is RAG? So it is called Retrieval-Augmented Generation. It's a system that enhances an LLM like Deepseek R1 by retrieving relevant context from an external knowledge before generating response. That means in a general LLM model, it actually gives you response from its own trained data. But what if your LLM doesn't know some specific data that you have? So that time RAG actually helps. These systems allow you to provide your unique data, and the system will split your data chunk by chunk and it store into a memory. And then when you ask query to the system, then it will actually grab those answer from your data and then it process with your corresponding LLM, and then it group together and give you the result or the answer. So overall, all this align with like RAG principles. That means you need external resource and you need LLM, and then you need the system which will take your query and process that based on your unique data and then give you the answer. So this is kind of an example of a simple RAG, and you can just find this repository from my Discord channel. I have given the link in the description. So now let's just try to install it in our computer and see how it actually works. So for installing that, you need to download it as a zip, or you can just clone it with the Git, and it will be kind of the same process as we did on our web UI section, where we have to create a Python environment and then we have to activate that environment, and then we have to install all the dependency related to the project. So I just grab the code and open your terminal from anywhere and then just place git clone and then paste the URL. It will clone the repository, and after that just navigate to the particular folder with chat with PDF, and now you have to activate your environment. But before that, you have to create an environment like this env. So you can create it by like python 3-m venv and then your environment, and when you do that, it will give you the environment. And let's just activate the environment like this env-pin-activate, and it will activate your environment. And after that, we need to install all the dependency. So you can just come below in the repository and you can see the installation process. And here you can see we need this command to install all the dependencies. And it took some time, just be patient. And then for running our application, you just have to hit this command into your terminal. And then you can see it will open a simple user interface where you can upload your PDF and then you can just chat around. So let's upload a PDF file, and you can see this is a simple PDF file about quantum computing overview. Let's just select it. So as you can see, it is processing, and after process completed, then you can just simply chat around with that. Now let's ask a question to our RAG. PDF, then there are several topics. So let's ask what is superposition. So what is superposition? And when you ask, then it will process from the PDF and it will give the answer from the PDF. And if you are not using any GPU, then of course it will take some time to process the whole thing. So be patient and then you can get the answer. But if you are using GPU, the high power one, then it might not take a lot of time. And as you can see, it actually started giving you the answer. And here we are. Because it's a reasoning model, first it actually thinks, then it will give you the answer. So this is in the quotation is the thinking, so you can just ignore that. And after that, this is the result. So it gives like superposition is the phenomenon where a qubit can exist in multiple states simultaneously, such as both 0 and 1 at once. Let's see is the right answer from the PDF or not. And as you can see, it's kind of given the same answer from the PDF. So this is how actually the RAG work with your local LLM, and you can just clone my repository and just start play around with it. And of course, after finishing the research, you can just clear the PDF and you can just upload another PDF to play around with that. So after cloning the repository, make sure you give a start on the repository. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.